Alright, so quick election night video. Things were about as bad as we expected them to be. There weren't any huge shockers, I don't think. Harry Reid did keep his seat in Nevada. Bunch of stuff. Florida went mainly red. The gubernatorial race is pretty tight. They were down to like 98 percent reporting, and there's still like 60,000 is the difference. So Florida could be on for a recount or absentee ballots that are yet to come in. So the Florida governor's mansion is no means set, but the rest of it is. Republicans won big all across the country. And, I mean, it's not, conservatives will use it to say that, it's a validation of wanting to move in a conservative direction. Truth is that when the party that's in power is in charge and stuff's not going right, whether it's their fault or not, they stand to lose big. So, whether you subscribe to the theory that, Obama and the Democrats got in power and then everything went to hell in a handbasket, or that they made it worse, or that you believe, like I do, that they just inherited a mess, and were just behind the wheel while the car was already going off the cliff, they were going to get punished no matter what, unless things had been turned around in a way that really resonated with voters. And that didn't happen. So that's that. And conservatives will have to show that vote that votes this cycle were well placed, that they're going to truly go to Washington and fight for a balanced budget and all things they ran on. So fantastic. But there was a video by a preacher, Jim Smiley, who's a preacher in Georgia, one of the mega churches, and he officially came out like 2 weeks ago as gay. And basically, it's an hour and 15-minute video. I watched the whole thing. I couldn't stop watching. And my friend Katie and I had been talking about, how a lot of Christians nowadays really give Christianity a bad name. I think Margaret Cho summed it up, and she said, Jesus is going to come back and say, that's not what I meant. That the God that I see a lot of Christians talking about and practicing and running, even as politicians on, is not the same God that's in the New Testament that I thought they were supposed to be paying attention to. And it's you see it constantly. It's conservatives, both political and religious figures, who have come out, so strongly against the gays, against gay marriage, equal rights. It's a sin. They're going to hell. And then it's like, yeah, he was actually banging 3 20-year-olds last week. And so I think, and that's just but one example. There's Bishop Eddie Long, Ted Haggard, Mark Foley, Craig from Idaho. I mean, all of these sort of super conservatives, Vitter with his family values, and then he was caught, valuing a hooker. And these are not sort of simple examples. It's sort of this idea that Christianity, there's nothing wrong with being gay. If you're a Christian and you think that there is, I would probably invite you to maybe dig a little bit deeper into the scripture and maybe try and actually find Jesus and not. And I love when people say, love the sinner, hate the sin. That's like halfway. That's like you've got a toe in the pool and you're almost there towards finding that, all of God's creatures are fantastic. But that's a cop-out. And it's something that has plagued me, at least around me all the time. Going to Christian high school, it was great seeing people talking about being saved, and it's like, I know you were doing it doggy style yesterday, and you're talking about how, wonderful your grace is, and, looking down on others, and it's just like, no, That's not going to work. And I had just been thinking about that. Hey, I saw the video today. I watched hour and 15 minutes. And his wife, I mean, it was pretty powerful stuff. I'm not religious, don't believe in God. But if there is a God, they found it. The wife, the ex-wife, the preacher, he told her going into their marriage that he was gay, but that they fell in love, and for 21 years they made it work. I mean, it was probably the most powerful video for It Gets Better. It wasn't even It Gets Better video, but far and away surpassed everything that I'd seen. And he said, this isn't about sex. I've been faithful in my marriage. I've been celibate. I may be celibate for the rest of my life. But he felt that the best way for him to do his, preaching was to come out and say, hey, it's really none of your business, but here's how it is, and God still loves me no matter what. And so I was just thinking about that in context of the election tonight. And of course, there will end up being a Republican, male, female, whatever, that was elected tonight who will end up in some kind of moral crisis that they railed against as, tearing apart the foundations of America. And so I would say to people who hold those kind of views, people who are, judgmental and then doing it, I don't feel sorry for them when their lives come crashing down around them. I would rather live my life out and openly and have 3 friends or 3 family members that still love me than to lie and sort of like build up this, wall of bullshit. Because it does come crashing down. I mean, even if it's not like you're exposed on the front page of New York Times, like an Elliot Spitzer or a David Vitter, it takes your toll. And why would you want to? I mean, in the 21st century, there's no reason why you have to do that. So, yeah, just kind of the elections. I was feeling kind of down, and then I watched that video, and then I was like, there's still a lot of good out there to be done in the world. And that just because Democrats lost the House and we lost a few seats in the Senate doesn't mean that, it's not a condemnation of the push for a better country that we've made. And Marco Rubio was talking tonight about how America is the greatest country in the world. And part of his speech made me think that he was asking us to open up the border to Cubans. So he was going on about his story about how his parents were exiles and he was able to make something, and it's like, are you saying we should let more Cubans in so they can have a better life and open the border to Mexico? Which I know he's not for. But anyways, I guess my message to conservatives would be that, walk the walk, that it's really easy to kind of get on your high horse and say, I have this morality and this morality, and then, you fail to live up to those standards, and the fact is that you're going to get called out on it. And I have pity for wives and families that are torn apart, but for these men who are in places of religious and political power, and spew this anti-gay agenda or family values agenda, and then they're caught with hookers, no sympathy at all. I mean, I've got nothing for you. It's one thing for, a Democrat who has supported marriage equality and then, divorces his wife and starts dating men. I mean, it's different, but these crusaders, no mercy. So, anyways, that's it. That's the cheery message for tonight, that we're not going to stop the fight. But if you have, just maybe even playing in the background, that speech, it was powerful shit. I cried for like the last half an hour. I love his wife, Debbie. But anyways, that's it.